Hi, I'm Stephanie Sage with Sage Restoration, and today I have the marvelous Crnkovich with DMC Service Inc. And I so appreciate you coming in today and taking time to sit down and chat with me.
Thank you. I'm delighted to be here.
Yeah, so I just wanted to bring you in and have you tell everybody about just how you become a woman in the trades. Because I'm all about promoting women-owned business and also getting women in the trades, as I own a restoration company, which is, construction kind of industry trade type work. Tell me a little bit about your company and what you guys do.
DMC Service is a heating, cooling, plumbing contractor. Basically, we go into buildings and help customers with the mission critical items that they need. Everybody needs their plumbing to work and run properly. And in this time of year, everybody likes to have heat, and in the summer, those hot summers, they like to have AC. So we're the guys that,
and gals.
the guys and girls that come in and fix it when it's broken.
Exactly. And then what percentage of your business is, because you mainly do commercial, but you also do residential. So how would you divide that up?
Our split of revenues is about 90% commercial and 10% residential.
Okay. And then you want us to kind of stay mainly focused in commercial? Is that pretty much where you target?
Yes, we target our marketing towards the commercial property managers and owners, facility managers, and but we are open to residential customers.
Okay.
We don't turn them away. We just don't go out and aggressively advertise and try to
market to them.
Try to get them.
Okay. And then do you do new construction or
we do not?
Okay.
No.
Okay. Repairs and
repairs, maintenance.
Okay.
Sometimes with repairs you have to replace systems, so that's kind of a piece of what we do.
Right.
But no new construction and very limited kind of retrofit type projects on occasion.
Okay. And then how did you get into the trades in general and running a successful plumbing HVAC company?
The short answer is I kept saying yes. The long answer is back several years ago, I was a part of the family-owned business, which was DMC, and over time I kept taking on more and more duties. Eventually I became a majority owner, and then about 4 years ago I bought the original owner out and started running it myself. I was not that girl who had a daddy as a plumber or wanted to be in the trades. It kind of just unfolded that way, and that's where I was put.
Just kind of fell in your lap.
I would say God put me where I'm supposed to be.
Exactly.
So,
but then you took it and ran with it, because aren't you actually licensed in several areas? Yes.
So back when I was buying in as a majority owner, one of the things that was very important to me was not to be a woman figurehead owner. I really wanted to understand and really earn the respect of mostly the men who were working for me at the time. So I decided to go get licensed, and I'd been apprenticing kind of out in the field for a bit, and just took some classes, did an enormous amount of studying, and eventually became licensed as a master plumber, master mechanical, which is the HVAC side, and then after those two I thought, why not get three, and master electrician.
Okay, I think that's amazing. I mean, because I've had people look at me and go, okay, why are you in restoration? And then, oh, you really did the work. Or I have some technicians that we hire and they don't believe that I was out in the field at one day, back in the day. And I just took this business and thought I have to jump in there and learn it, and took all the certification classes. And like I told you earlier, I call myself Pioneer Woman. You just jump in and you do that, and you seem to be the same, because you want to know what you're talking about and have the actual experience.
Yeah, I'm not going to pretend that I know everything. I am very lucky. I have some great guys on my team, but I really have tried over the past 10, 12 years to learn it, and be able to understand, mostly so that I can speak to customers and educate them.
Right. Exactly. And I know, like, the only thing in our business I haven't done is air duct cleaning, because we didn't do that like the first, I don't even know, 4 or 5 years. And so, and I can see the difference, because I really can't really talk I wouldn't say intelligent. I mean, I know what they're doing, but I've never done the work, so it makes it a lot easier to explain to a customer. In other words, when you've done the work.
Right.
So I think it makes a big difference.
Well, and I don't want to misrepresent myself. I'm not out turning screws.
Right.
I'm not out running our snakes or our cameras, but I have the knowledge on how to do it.
Exactly.
And really a bigger part of being a leader is leading people and allowing them to do the job that they know how to do.
Exactly. Well, I'm impressed, though, by you. I think it's awesome. Speaking of women in the trades, I love promoting women-owned business, supporting women in their careers, what have you. And also women in the trades, because we do need to get more women to look into going into the trades. Maybe it's not for them, but maybe it is. I mean, some people really enjoy the hands-on work. So, I mean, do you have many women that work for you now or in the past?
I have an amazing woman who works in our office with me, and then I also have a part-time sales administrative assistant who is a woman. We're the three ladies of DMC. Right now, I currently don't have any technicians or salespeople that are women. Everybody is they're all male, and at one point I had hired a woman, and it didn't work out, and it really kind of made me sad, but it also made me realize and remember that even though we're women in the trades and we are very much a minority and a very small percentage of the representation, it doesn't mean that we really should get equal treatment. And that's what I found in this particular case with the woman that I hired who worked a very short time for us, was that she expected to be the kind of guy with all of the respect without earning it first.
Yeah, well, nothing works that way.
And life doesn't life doesn't work that way. And I was very clear and transparent about how our company works and how we work together. And she decided that wasn't for her. And I hope that she has landed someplace because it does make my heart sing when I see women HVAC and plumbers. It's a great living, and I love the fact that more and more women are getting in the trades. I am a part of a national organization called Women in HVACR, and it started out as a Facebook group about 8 years ago.
Wow, that's
and there
cool.
was like 50 people in this Facebook group, and over time it has grown to where they had their own conference, kind of behind or sandwiched behind a national conference, and then they did that for a few years, and then last year, for the first year, they had their own standalone conference with over 120 women, and it's I just think it's very encouraging.
A good support group.
It is a great support group, and the other wonderful thing about it is that there's more and more actual ladies who are turning screws, and turning the wrenches and out there on the job sites, and the support and the sisterhood that they have for each other is helping lift up other women. Because honestly, just like with men, when they're told that they should have an office job in the trades,
or go to college.
Go to
college. Like that's not always the answer for everybody.
It's not, and I think for a long time we kind of skewed away from and looked down upon people, in the trades, thinking that was a lesser class, and really that's not the way we should look at it.
You can make great money in the trade, all the different trades. It's a true skill.
It's a skill. You have to be smart to do it. These guys aren't dumb.
No.
I know. I've taken the test. I know how much knowledge you have to have, and just because somebody doesn't want to wear a suit doesn't mean that they're any less than somebody who wants to be outside with fresh air,
a different place
working
every
in
day.
a little bit more physically. It's a great option, and I love that now.
And less money than going to college is what, $100,000 sometimes for 4 years of college. What is a typical
trade school? You could get in and out in 18 months.
And what kind of typical cost?
I don't have that information, but I know it's a much shorter time period to get
a lot less investment.
A lot less
overall.
upfront investment, and then also, especially on the plumbing side, most of the time there's very little school needed. It's more apprenticing under somebody who's a little bit more experienced.
Right, exactly.
So it's a lot of on-the-job training.
Yeah, I think about that a lot. What happened too, I used to be in mortgages during when the U.S. came into the recession back in 2007 and 2008, and construction took a nosedive, the auto industry, mortgages. And I ended up, a lot of the brokers were going out of business, and I ended up selling high interest title loans.
Oh.
And I did that for a couple years.
So sorry.
Yeah, and that's when I decided. I thought, what am I doing here? And I went to Alan. I said, what, we've got to quit being sitting ducks and start a business. But at the time when I worked there, I would see a lot of guys come in from the construction industry, and they were out of work. Just trying to even borrow money to feed their children.
Right.
I mean, it was really hard, sad times. But during that time, those guys had to find something else to do. And then in the meantime, I think a lot of parents started just college, and then that's why we had less people going into the trades.
Right.
And I think there's a whole new movement right now.
I think so too. I think that sometimes there's a lot of different moving pieces that are that go. That we go through and evolve all over the country, and I think that the trades are definitely coming back and it's a viable option and a great living, and I think that a lot of kids who aren't interested in college and are looking for a little bit more physical job where they can make great money and make a living and have more security.
Because you're always going to have plumbing. What if we didn't have plumbers?
Right?
What stinking mess. No.
No pun intended, right?
No pun intended. No, we'd be a pretty messy world.
It would be.
And
that's the
in all
beauty
seriousness.
And that's why DMC as a company has chosen to really kind of, while construction is very hot right now and there's a lot of people making a killing, our core competency is in the service side, is in the fixing side, and that really remains very consistent.
Oh, yeah.
Whereas construction might go up and down and up and down and have a lot more volatility.
Right.
Service work is always needed.
Oh, yeah. And that's part of the reason we bought this business, is we looked into a lot of different business models, because at the time we were in a recession, and I thought, well, shoot, the restoration has to be pretty recession-proof, because you have to take care of your house, get the repairs made, or you're going to destroy your property.
Right.
And lose tons of money.
Yeah.
Or get canceled by your insurance carrier as well. So, trades are viable. So if anybody out there is interested, look into the trades, or if your kids are struggling with what they want to do, go ahead and contact us, and we can connect you with people to get you going in the right direction. So what do you think, Karen, has been the main key to your success as a woman business owner?
I would say there's...
Or just getting where you're at today.
Yeah, I would think there are three things that have made me successful. The first is I am relentlessly positive. No matter what I'm going through, no matter how hard the days are, running a business is not for the light of heart, as you know.
No.
As you know.
Not the faint of heart.
Once you think you're over one hurdle, there's another one that you have to climb that's even higher. But throughout it all, I just force positivity, and some days it's a little easier than others to find that joy, but I think that does help the situation.
Almost definitely.
For sure. So number one, just having a positive outlook.
Yeah.
And number two, I'm pretty gritty. Like when things get really tough,
you're a pretty new woman.
I will dig in and just make it work, and that grit with the positive attitude is really what helps me move forward. And then three, I've just been surrounded by some incredibly supportive people. Even the original founder of the company still supports and helps me, helps guide me to this day. And I have a great team surrounding me. And we hope to attract even more great team members who believe in our vision. So
exactly.
Those are the three things.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I think they're very important things, because I always try to stay positive. I think your thoughts bring good things to you, or the reverse. If you're thinking negativity and you let that overtake you, you let the bad days really get you down for too long. Everybody's going to have their little pity party occasionally, and they're like, I can't make it through this day. Or just having mentors too.
That's very true.
That are there for you, that lend you a hand up. And that's part of the reason I started doing my Sage Spotlight, is just to, help other people learn about successful people that I admire, or even just to give thanks to people that have lent me a hand up and were there for me back in the day when people are like, what are you doing?
No.
Well, when you have to believe in yourself.
You do.
When nobody else does, but you have those few people
that
say you can do it.
Yes.
Yeah.
I'm very lucky, as it sounds like you are too.
Yeah, it's awesome. So let's see. We talked about maybe women you've had in the trades. You really haven't had the chance to mentor too many women, but is that something that in the future you would love to do? Or?
I would love to mentor women in the trades. Where I have found an opportunity to mentor is women with other small businesses.
Okay.
I've had every once in a while, I would say every couple months, I get a Facebook message or a text message from somebody in my circle who's like, hey, can we just grab coffee? I just want to chat through owning a business.
Right.
And, I, like I said, kind of balance here's the positive outlook that you have to have, but it's not always positive stuff you're dealing with.
No.
And going
Most
back to
definitely
that,
not.
it's not for the light of heart. Owning a business is hard work.
It is.
It's a
you
lot
never
of-
work harder than...
It's a lot of hard work. There are a lot of setbacks. There are a lot of things that are frustrating beyond your control. And so being able to have the grit and the positivity to work through that, I help share those stories with other female mentor or entrepreneurs who are either in the early stages of starting their business or kind of a couple years in and just hit that wall and give them some sunshine to look forward to.
Well, because a business is very you definitely, like, I'm not the same person I was 8 years ago by any means, and I'm sure any entrepreneur is that way because there's so many learning curves, cycles of a business, and to be able to share your experiences and wisdom, and then just to give support to keep somebody going when they feel like, what am I doing?
Right.
And you feel like you're beating your head against the wall. I know, like, the first 2-3 years I was out beating the streets just trying to get work, and I look back now and we're not even close to the same company, and there's times I want to just sit and just go, like, what am I doing? Am I really gonna make it? But you just keep going, grit. Yep. Muscling through it and praying a few along the way.
Prayers always help.
Yeah. Please send me some work. Okay, so do you have a favorite quote or a favorite person that you admire?
I'm a quote junkie.
I know. I love your quotes. I am too. I love positive quotes.
I love quotes because a lot of times, kind of going back to that, owning your own business, being especially a woman in the business, the company I own, sometimes it's lonely at the top. Yeah. I'm transparent with my guys, but to a point.
Right. You can't share everything.
And so sometimes just reading a quote, just reminds me that I'm not alone.
Right.
And that there's somebody else who's been there before me. So I think my all-time favorite quote is by John Quincy Adams. And I'll probably butcher it a little, but the gist of it is, through patience and perseverance, obstacles vanish and difficulties disappear. And that's absolutely the truth. And kind of what we've been talking about is that you've got to be patient with yourself and others. And you have to have perseverance or grit. Yeah. And if you keep just moving forward, and sometimes you're taking 10 steps, and sometimes you only take half a step.
Or take a few back.
But that's where that patience and grit comes in to just keep moving forward.
And I guess Alan and I've learned, it's just kind of ironic or funny how things do have a way of working out, even though at the time you may think, oh my God, why did this happen? But then you realize it was kind of just meant to be.
Right. And
that's
things just
life. Play out. Yeah.
And that's a life lesson, not just a business lesson.
Yeah, most definitely. And then things are always harder when you're going through something that's so tough, or you're going through college or school or your training. Right. And then, but once you get through it, you're like, oh, it wasn't that bad. How did I not know that?
Yeah. Another quote, and I can't remember who it was. I always have to look these things up. Yeah. But is that, a faulty memory is not necessarily a bad thing.
Yeah. Convenient memory loss.
Yes.
Brain freeze.
Yes.
A lot of times you're like, I don't even remember that. Thank goodness.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
And then I guess, do you have a definition of success? Everybody thinks of success in different ways.
Yeah. I believe that success is waking up every morning with a smile on my face. And, if that's my ultimate goal, to make sure that I'm waking up every morning with a smile on my face, try to put a smile on somebody else's face, then that's a successful life. Because, we like to try to monetize things or say, oh, I wish success will be when I have a $10 million company. Right. Well, you know what? When you get to $10 million, then you're going to want $50 million. So you can't really, there will always be a ceiling to shatter. Yeah. So rather than making success about shattering those ceilings, It's more about just being a happy, fulfilled person.
You know, going into 2019, that would be a really good thought for me to work on, because I tend to be type A, and I really had burnout this year. And I just kind of kept putting it off, kept working, and then like a month ago, I had appendicitis.
Oh no.
And then before they could get me into surgery, it burst.
Oh,
so
geez.
that went from outpatient to being in the hospital 10 days and just being really sick for the last 2 or 3 weeks.
Right.
And, you know, when I had a lot of time to think
Yeah.
while I was sitting in the hospital, but I thought, you know what? I didn't listen to that little voice that said, you need to slow down.
Right. It's hard.
You need to quit pushing. You need to quit pushing it. And now this year going forward, I'm going to do some changes in
That's
the
good.
amount of work that I do, and just try to focus on the success that we've had and being genuinely happy. Not that I'm not,
Right.
but just putting less pressure on myself, I guess.
Right. Well, I think as
You know.
women, and maybe men feel this way too, but I feel like we put an extraordinary amount of pressure on ourselves, especially the A personality woman, which I definitely am an A personality woman.
Yeah.
I'm a driver, I'm goal oriented, but that's where I have learned through great mentors
Right.
to say, hey, you know, it's not all about business. It's not all about, you know, all of these things. It has to have a balanced, happy life.
Right. Yeah, that's very true. Because I know, like, I'll talk to Alan. And when we started out, you know, my first year in sales was like $37,000, you know, and that doesn't even pay the bills.
Right.
But, you know, then we got to point, gosh, they're doing like $300,000 a year. Oh my gosh! And then you get there, and then you're like, now let's get to 5, and then you get there, and then let's get to 750. Let's get to $1 million, because only 3% of all businesses ever reach $1 million.
I know.
In revenue. I mean, you find that actually kind of hard to believe sometimes.
You do, especially once you kind of get over that threshold.
Yeah.
You're like, really? And that's the other thing. Is
it's
just
a lot of work
pausing.
to get there.
Yeah, it's a lot of work.
Yeah.
And just pausing and saying, hey, you know what? I've done something. You know, I've been able to build something.
Yeah.
And in your case, from the ground up, which is extremely admirable.
Yeah. Thank you.
And you know, something real and substantial.
Yeah.
And a lot of people, a lot of businesses don't make it that far. So congratulations.
Well,
to you
thank
for
you.
doing that.
Thank you. But it's. I'm glad you brought that up, because that's kind of my focus this year. I mean, we want to keep growing and being successful, but taking that moment to put a little bit less pressure on yourself, and taking time to take time off and be happy and have and enjoy, you know, some of the little things. Spend more time with my grandbabies.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, they're coming over on Saturday, and I have these 2 little, you know, Christmas trees, and I'm gonna have them decorate, each do their own.
I love that.
I know, so I'm totally excited.
Sweet. That's so much fun.
Yeah, bake cookies, and
I love that.
let them make their own little pizzas and all that kind of stuff. So I'm looking forward to that. So what are some tips that you can give some homeowners or commercial property owners in regards to plumbing or HVAC going into the wintertime?
Going into the wintertime, especially on the HVAC side, the biggest thing is make sure your filters aren't clogged.
Okay.
We get countless calls, and somebody's like, hey, you know, it's just my furnace, the air's not blowing warm air, it's not blowing, and we get there, and it turns out that their filter looks like it is
It's
like
all
5,000 years old, and
all dark
it's
and
just,
dirty.
It's just like solid dust and dirt, and it's such an easy, very inexpensive thing for homeowners that they can do themselves.
Right.
We are happy to do it for them if they're just like hands off, you know, I can't figure that out, and that's fine. But both property owners and homeowners really making sure in the wintertime that those filters stay clean, especially if they live in, you know, high if they have a very kind of old home with dust, or if they're doing any kind of remodeling, pets, people go and, you know, they might have a fairly new, relatively new home, but then they go and remodel their basement, and they forget all of the dust. They know all the dust upstairs, you know, they're, that creates, but then they forget about their filters until it's too late. And we've actually seen people literally strangle their systems and kill them.
Right, because the air can't get through.
Because the air can't get through.
It burns out the motor, probably.
It creates all kinds
of... And that can't be cheap.
Problems. It's not. It's not a cheap fix. So that's the number one thing that we recommend. On the commercial property side, we really try to encourage people not to do DIY. Hire professionals, because
that's a whole different ball of wax.
It's a whole different. It's not your home furnace. It might look the same. It's not. Even in plumbing, you know, we've seen so many property owners that hired inexperienced or unknowledgeable handyman, and this isn't to, I don't
Yeah.
want to diss on the handyman
Right.
industry. They serve a purpose, and they generally do a good job, but there's also a level at which they don't have the knowledge base
Right.
that a licensed plumber or mechanical company would have. And so really making sure that they work with qualified companies, because there's just a lot of bad work that it goes on out there, and that makes me sad, but it's also one of the reasons why I love leading DMC service, because we aren't perfect, but we strive to do diamond or brilliant work.
Right.
And when we don't, we own up to it and we make it right.
Right. And at the end of the day, I think if any contractor that can do that, you're not always going to be perfect. My thing is, we're always striving to be perfect. And yeah, and we mess up, you got to own it.
Yeah. And
you know, and people will respect you for that. Then if you just turn away like,
shrug your shoulders, I don't know.
Yeah, I have patience for that.
We see a lot of that, and that's unfortunate, but that's why I'm running DMC, because we want to be different.
Exactly. And that's one of the ways you differentiate yourself.
It is.
To some of the big boys. You're one of the big boys, though. Big gals. Oh man. Okay, so do you have any tips going into like with plumbing into the winter time? Because I know like with frozen pipes or people leave to go away for the holidays.
If somebody leaves for vacation, it's not a bad idea to leave a little, so in your home, you want to go to the fixture that is the furthest away from your water meter and just maybe turn it on for a little drip, and that'll keep your, make sure that your pipes don't freeze.
So farthest away from your water meter?
Yeah. So wherever you're, and the easiest way to kind of figure that out is look at where your water meter is usually, outside the home, because they come and look at it, Water One or whoever it is. But where your water heater is usually generally pretty close to that.
Oh, okay.
And then just kind of walk to the back of your house and find the last fixture, and it could be a sink or it could be a tub. Those are usually the two, a shower, and just do a tiny drip, and that'll prevent it from.
Okay. So that's a new one by me. But in this, I always say keep a faucet dripping, whatever. But I never knew that.
But it's important to be the last faucet.
Okay.
Because otherwise you'll kind of skip all the others.
Okay. Well, yeah, that's an excellent tip then. So now, how can people contact you if in the event that they need, repairs done on their plumbing or HVAC?
Oh, well, thank you for asking. We would love anyone who needs heating, cooling, or plumbing service to call us in the office at 913-481-0505. We're also on the internet. Our website address is www.dmcserviceinc.com.
Awesome. Well, I thank you so much for coming on.
Thank you. This has been so much fun.
And let me put you out there and let more and more people know about you, because you're awesome.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
Do you have any special plans for Thanksgiving?
I have a wonderful friend who loves to cook, and she is inviting me over for her family Thanksgiving.
Aww.
So yeah, it'll be fun.
Well, awesome. Well, we wish everybody a happy and safe Thanksgiving. But in the event you would have some plumbing, water damage issues, or your HVAC goes out, because I'm sure you have people on call, correct?
We do. 24/7.
Give DMC or Sage Restoration a call. Anyway, thanks for watching us today.